Crazy movie theories. Some of us just can't help our active imaginations, can we? It is especially bad when a movie leaves holes in its narrative open for interpretation. That's when it gets really bad. I just want some answers. Hidden behind that solemn veil of a statement is a desire to go down the rabbit hole of investigation and obsession. Very much like a detective who has threads of red connecting the clues all over his room. Not to mention how it is so much fun. For those of us who can't devote the time or effort to this labor of love, we enjoy seeing these crazed detectives connecting the dots and making logic leaps hidden safely behind the screens of our laptops, in the cozy corners of our room. It's a way to share our appreciation for the characters and stories that continue to inspire awe and wonder within us. Here are some of our favorite theories that might just blow the lid off the plot of your favorite movies. Number 1. The Joker is actually the hero in The Dark Knight. As soon as the Joker steps into Gotham, he manages to take organized crime by the throat. Very early in the film, we see the Joker pull off a bank heist with a few of his accomplices, whom he later manipulates into killing each other. Of course he did that. However, this robbery wasn't about the money, but to lure the big guns out of hiding. The Gotham underbelly is shaken by this new breed of crime, and Joker's pieces begin to move. With Dent and Batman's help, he is able to eliminate key officials who might be able to take the fall for the ones who are really behind it all. The theory argues that the Joker might even have a hand in the promotion of Jim Gordon. The Joker is really happy for him too, clapping from his cellar for one of the only remaining honest police officers. Having secured a path to rid the city from the corrupt bureaucracy and their goons, the only problem is the city itself and its refusal to awaken from slumber to fight for its soul. They have Batman for that, don't they?
Are you sure about that?
During the last bit of the film, the Joker manages to rid the city of its protector, finally enabling them to stand on their own two legs. Number 2. The Hunger Games are a tool for nipping rebellious troublemakers in the bud. In an ideal dictatorship, there would be no rebellion, except dictatorships aren't exactly about keeping people contented and satisfied, so there's bound to be rebellion. How are you supposed to stop that from happening? Well, the Hunger Games, of course. The Hunger Games test the capabilities of the newer generations from each of the districts. Which district is more of a threat? How do they fare in combat, in strategy, and are they capable of inciting a revolution? All of these parameters are successfully tested in the games, so the capital is not caught off guard. Not only do these games test the insurgency capabilities of each of the districts, but the capital successfully beta tests counter tools as well. All in all, it's a pretty sweet deal for the capital. Number 3. Thanos meant to sacrifice Gamora for the Soul Stone all along. Thanos put his plan in motion for balance in the galaxy pretty early on in the film. He was able to acquire the Infinity Gauntlets and all the stones with a lot of careful and devious forethought, which eventually culminated in him wiping out half the galaxy and a few of our most favorite Avengers from existence. This theory argues that Thanos knew the price he was going to pay for acquiring the Soul Stone much before. It is exactly why he decided to adopt Gamora and bring her up as his own daughter. However, somewhere along the way, he found himself genuinely coming to love her and could not bring himself to sacrifice her for the completion of his plan. Instead, he adopted Nebula. The film does establish her as nothing more than an afterthought, always paling in comparison to Gamora in the eyes of Thanos. He also might have deliberately bred the animosity between them, rendering Nebula weaker with each cybernetic enhancement. If a time came for them to seek the stone together, Gamora would return victoriously. Oof, talk about being a bad dad. Number 4. The Pulp Fiction briefcase contains Marcellus Wallace's soul. This theory is actually a pretty famous one. Marcellus is seen with a band-aid at the back of his head, a wound that was inflicted, as fan theorists argue, when his soul was extracted from his body to be put in a briefcase. It is odd how we never actually see the contents of the briefcase. Moreover, it does explain Marcellus's desire for the briefcase and the eerie glow that emanates from it. While there are quite a few logic holes in this theory, it is fun to imagine a character walking around with his soul in a briefcase. We would even go as far as to argue it would make an interesting premise for a film, with the character as the sole focus. Any takers? Hollywood? Number 5. The movie Life was a stealth origin story for Venom. Now that the multiverse in the MCU is officially a reality, this theory is all the more fun to imagine. Since both Deadpool and Mysterio show up, this lines up pretty perfectly with the mythos as well. Moreover, they're both Sony movies. Another coincidence? I think not. That lends pretty well to the weight of the theory. However, the symbiote seems much stronger than in the Venom films, where it must bind itself to a host to reach its true potential. Perhaps in the future, we might see a symbiote-powered Mysterio taking it up with Spider-Man. Or maybe the entire Earth has succumbed to the tyrannical rule of the symbiote race and weren't saving by the Avengers. The possibilities are endless.